What's up, War Room? Welcome back. Joe and Connor, fresh off recording the podcast. Connor flipped his hat around.
Yep.
We have a Badlands all hands meeting after this because we're a very serious business now. It's a thing. Listen, we passed 4,700 patrons, 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. We got to start acting like a real business here. So what we're going to do on War Room tonight is the Jets are 0-2. They're heading on the road as a touchdown underdogs. So Connor and I are going to take this 25 minutes and talk about if we were sitting in the coach's room and the front office, what we would do in the vacuum of the rest of this season. So you can only make so many changes when it's week 2, right? But how do the Jets, I'll start this. First off, Connor, how you feeling? Can we do this? Can we solve this? Can we get to 7 or 8 wins like we originally said?
I think we have a shot at 7. It's going to be, we're not going to be able to solve everything, but I think they're just because of the personnel limitations. But I think there are some tweaks that can really go a long way for this team.
So let's remember the Jets play Miami twice, New England twice, Carolina, New Orleans, Cleveland,
right?
Jacksonville, Cincinnati without Joe Burrow. So there might be some wins on the schedule, is what I'm saying.
But those teams probably are looking at the Jets going, is that going to be our win?
Of course, right? So it's like, how do you play comparable to how you did in week 1? I think all the teams I just named are about as good or worse than Pittsburgh, and the Jets probably should have won that game. So I think if we start on defense, I'm having a hard conversation with Steve Wilks, if I'm Aaron Glenn, that, look, I'm going to give you a couple months here, but if we don't see some changes and some improvements and some flexibility, I'm going to have to probably take over the play calling because we can't go out and be that predictable against the better quarterbacks we play. I also think personnel-wise, especially now that Tony Adams is banged up, you just put more at safety. I guess the harder thing to fix, and I don't know how to fix this with their current depth chart, and this was the basis of Zach's article in The Athletic today and some of the commentary we had around it. What do you do with edge? Let's say Jermaine's a little banged up. Let's say he misses the Tampa game. He's going to play 30, 40 snaps a game while he's getting right. We know we have Will McDonald. What do you do? Because it's easy for you and I to be like, my God, Clemens sucks and he's an abomination. But if you're in Glenn and Wilkes' chair, what's your defensive line rotation? What's your solve that makes you less reliant on him?
I mean, honestly, at what point do you kind of just say, listen, here's my problem with, I can't believe I'm about to say, here's my problem with Michael Clemens. Like, I'm got some brainiac idea. But in all reality, it feels like the Jets, why they play Clemens at such a high, like having a serious conversation here, why they play Clemens at such a high snap rate is they like having a bigger edge player that they don't trust Will McDonald to play 100% of the snaps. And the reality is, if Jermaine is banged up at some point, like, Will is going to have to play a lot of snaps because then you're replacing another edge spot across from him. But I mean, you kind of sit there and just wonder, is there a base front where you're going, you know what? Clemens doesn't get after the passer anyway. This is the thing that I can't emphasize enough. He's not rushing the passer effectively anyway. He doesn't. He's not a good pass rusher. He's barely a mediocre run defender, but he is a bad pass rusher. Do you just, until you can find another capable body, do you just play a front that Harrison Phillips and Juwan Briggs are probably going to play your interior, a lot of it? And do you give a look for Quinnen Williams and Leonard Taylor to play some end? I mean, is that crazy?
No.
Like,
you got to get your best players out there. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Leonard Taylor is not a good interior run defender. He is a good interior pass rusher. Like, we've seen it. He played the other day. Is there a world where, because of his play style, you go, you know what? We're gonna play Quinnen inside and outside. But when we need to play Quinnen inside because Briggs isn't going to play a majority of the snaps, Harrison Phillips will, throw Leonard Taylor on the end and see what happens there. Because even if you just start to move around Briggs and Quinnen, basically you're just playing your 3 defensive tackles as much as you can, and Will McDonald. And if that's the case, those 3 are really good against the run. What do you think the offense is going to try to do? They're going to try to run at Will McDonald. The linebackers know that.
Yeah.
That just makes it easier for them to read their keys. So it's not easy, but when you're dealt a tough hand from a personnel standpoint, and they chose to build the roster this way and kept Clemens, try something different. Be a heavier front. I mean, you're not going to be this elite pass rushing team anyway, away from Will McDonald without Jermaine. So just lean into what you could be good at something, right? Yep. That's kind of what it is. So I would play a heavier front.
I would also shake the snow globe a little bit in the secondary, right? It's time to get Thomas some reps.
Yeah, it is.
While Stevens continues to struggle, it's time to maybe try Stiggers at safety. It's time to maybe give Isaiah Oliver some reps if Carter continues to struggle and he's not healthy, specifically.
Healthy, problem, yeah.
Then you just don't play him if he's not healthy. He's already struggling and undersized. Let him get right and just play somebody else and rotate the combination until you find the right two around Sauce and Cisco, who's going to stay in the starting lineup. And Cisco had one play that got me irrationally angry. He's been fine beyond that. Not good, but also
he kind of has been not noticeable, which is
he's
good.
Been fine, which we'll take in the secondary right now. He hasn't been a disaster like Adams. I think you take your licks with Moore. Adams is already hurt, so you might as well play Moore anyway. And, again, rotate in some of the other guys. And that's kind of the best you could do. And I'll go down watching Watts off the practice squad and McGregor get killed versus watching Clemens anymore. There's no difference. So you might as well have the guys who are just younger, even if they're not good. Again, you missed your window on Clowney, so you got to work with what you have. And there'll be games the defense looks better just by a function of not playing. As much as we like to poke at Aaron Rodgers, he's still Aaron Rodgers. Like, they started off playing Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen, then they're going to play Baker Mayfield. Like, those are three good quarterbacks. And then all of a sudden you're playing. It doesn't immediately get easier because you have Dak in week 5, but you get a little Tua, you get a little Browning, you get a little Bryce Young, you get some of the inconsistencies of Drake May, who's got that Sam Darnold flow to his game, as Will always shouts out. So it will get easier in some weeks as long as you show some adaptability. And fans will give grace, I think, if you try different things that don't work. Where fans rightly get annoyed is that if you just keep making the same mistakes over and over and tell fans they don't know what they're looking at, we're not idiots. We're just not at this point. I'm sorry. You have to just try some different shit. So that's what my head goes to on defense. I think offensively, we talked about this a little bit on the pod. I think you could have a strength at tight end. I think you might have 4 guys who can play and maybe have all 4 tight ends active. Stone Smart could be listed as a tight end. He's a receiver. Jelani Woods could be listed as a tight end. He's a receiver. Ruckert seems like he could be your tight end too. Mason Taylor will get better as the season goes on. Integrate those guys more once you get beyond Garrett Wilson. Arian Smith. My thing with Arian Smith is if you're going to play him, just play him.
You just have to play him. Yeah.
Just don't make it so obvious you're not giving him a chance where everyone he comes in, it's they're going to give that guy a reverse. Here's a 12-yard loss. Oh, he's going to run his deep go route. Just back off because that's all he can do. And to his credit, he did have a nice catch on 4th down later in the game. I think it was a 4th down. So that's what I would say. Just play him. And, Reynolds, if he's not going to stay healthy, could have kind of held that role. And if he's healthy, maybe he can, but we don't need the Lazard reps. And, Tyler Johnson is fine in a situational role, but if he's leading all your receivers in snaps, man, that's tough. I mean, it's tough. Week 2, Tyler Johnson led all Jet receivers in snaps. God damn it. That is an indictment on the front office if there ever is one. So,
I mean, it's malpractice.
It's just crazy hours. So
yeah.
What would you do more specifically in offense? And we like everything we've seen from Angstrom. On the second watch, Angstrom didn't really do anything wrong week 2.
No.
The reverse was a bad call, but beyond that, he was fine.
Yeah, the reverse was a bad call, but it's the classic. It was a bad call because, the drive was going really well and it lost 12 yards. And the Bills are, say what you want about the Bills. We, as Jet fans, our ability to laugh at the Bills is that they just can never get over the hump. But the Bills are very well prepared for these Jet games. And they knew, hey, when that guy's out there, he's their 4th rounder that is a great track athlete. Do not lose sight of him if he goes in motion or if he's in the backfield. I mean, come on, man. You know what it is at that point with that kind of guy. That was always the problem with Corley, is that you felt like when Corley was out there, the defense knew he was getting a reverse or a screen. So, what's interesting to me as I prep for this game, I've been watching the coach's film of Tampa. Bucky Irving had 6 targets in the game against the Texans. I just love what Tampa does. they just know how to throw to the backs. And you look at it and go, like, the Jets need to embrace that with Breece Hall. I think part of the problem is, and why it works for Tampa and why maybe Engstrom was a little hesitant, is Baker can throw down the field to Emeka Buka and Mike Evans. And when you're throwing down the field at that rate, it does leave more room for the back slipping out of the backfield, whether it's a swing pass, an angle route, a slip screen, where if the Jets come out of this game and they hit Garrett or they hit somebody down the field once or twice, you got to start giving Breece those catch and run balls. And this is another problem. Fields was late on those. He was late on them to Breece. He was late on the one to Isaiah Davis before the half. Tyrod's not going to be late on those. No. So I think that with the running backs, you can really get them to catch and run balls with Tyrod, and that'll be a big part of this offense. And the bottom line is, like, we're having this conversation. Who do you want to have the ball in their hands? Tyler Johnson, one of the tight ends, or Breece Hall? It's not that hard to answer that question. So I think that would be a key for me.
Now, special teams, I don't think there's too much to radically change. You have a good punter. You have a capable kicker. It didn't seem like Isaiah Williams really had much juice as a returner.
Great. No.
I mean, he could catch the punt. He'll give him another week or two, but I felt better with Isaiah Davis returning kicks of the two. I think from a game management perspective, it's got to be teaching tape, man. Like, especially when you're an underdog, just be more aggressive. Don't become the punchline when you're kicking a field goal down 20-0. Don't punt in the second half when you're down 3 scores and you're like around midfield and it's 4th and short. For the life of me, unless it's like a physical thing that I'm missing, I don't know why the Jets don't use the goddamn tush push. I just can't understand
Very
it.
Weird.
Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's more complex than I'm giving it credit for. But when you have Fields and you have a good interior offensive line and you're regularly in for short yardage situations, just try it. Try it as something in your repertoire that goes with your overall game management philosophy of being more aggressive on 4th and short. And they coach the game properly, I think, week 1, besides not including that on some of their short yardage package. Like, I like that they went for the 2-point conversion. There was a 4th down in the game a couple times that I believe they went for. So that was fine week 1. I think everyone to just hope week 2 was a true sour milk game. I think everyone got really psyched out by how that first quarter went and kind of shit their pants and didn't know what to do. And that happens with a first-time coach and a first-time guy in a lot of different spots, and with Fields, where I just think the entire sideline was like, oh my God. Like, they got this 40-yard scramble on the first drive. We thought we had him stopped. We got the roughing the passer. We got the Fields fumble. And it's everyone just brain wipes. That should not happen. It can happen, but it does happen. Where if you're in a new job and you're in a new role and stuff starts to go wrong for the first time, you can panic and compound your mistakes. And my hope is that there will be another time this year where the Jets are down. It could be this week, honestly, where they're down 10-0 to a much better team. How do they stabilize and find their way back into the game to be competitive? If the Jets go down 10-13-0 to Tampa, again, it's not crazy. Tampa's better than them. Tampa's probably going to win 11 or 12 games this year, if not more. Can you fight back? Can it be 16-13? Can you hang in there? Can you catch your breath? Can you put together a touchdown drive? That's some of the stuff that I think we have to look for from a game management perspective, where that'll be easier with Tyrod too if he plays versus Fields, right? Because Fields also, like, I don't want to like skirt around it. Like, Fields was really bad in this game and left yards on the field. That changed the game a bit. If he hits Garrett, if he hits Isaiah Davis, like, it's a bit of a different game. He left some real points on the field. Also, I kind of felt like on his huge run, he could have got like another like 25 yards if he would have just made like one more cut.
Gas.
Yeah, it was like
that was
had like the David Harris piano on the back running by the end.
Right.
Like, just like keep going, man. So that's my 2 cents.
Why do so many Jets run out of gas? Remember Marcus Mays?
Yes.
It's David Harris is a great callback. There's got to be more that I'm forgetting. It's like, I don't know, man. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I ever played in the NFL, but when I was playing sports and I was actually training every day, I don't remember like ever just running out of gas. These are professional athletes.
I was like, is this going to be like an 80-yard touchdown run? And then he just like fell down. I was like, what happened?
It was like 20 yards into it. I was like, oh my God, he's out of gas. He's totally out of gas.
I think he was shocked how much space there was.
Yeah, maybe was what it was too. But yeah, I think that they kind of found themselves. It felt like Joe when they went down after he fumbled and they really went down, that they felt like they needed to make it all back up in one play.
Yeah.
And then